Every bike I restore has its own story. Here's 3 of them. I found this Peugeot on Facebook Marketplace, and I met a young woman at a grocery store to exchange money for the bike. She told me the bike was in good condition, and I asked her about the cable at the bottom because it was holding the wheel in place and I couldn't spin it because I usually like to spin the whack wheel to see if there's a problem. But she told me it was fine and there was no problem with it. But I looked it over and otherwise it looked pretty good. But once I cut the cable loose and saw what condition that wheel was in, I kind of regretted it. By the time it was all done, I spent weeks working on that back wheel because the back rim was really bent, and I tried to straighten it at first and re-spoke it, but wasn't that great, and it took me a long time to get it right and to retune it. It also had some mystery goop on the bottom of it that I never figured out what it was. I cleaned it up, but eventually got it all done and sent it off to charity. But it was a real arduous task to get that bike going good. Got this old Hyper. It was sitting out in a fella's ranch in back with a bunch of other bikes that he said had belonged to his children and grandchildren who'd moved away, and he'd just been pushing them further and further in back of his ranch. So he gave them to me for a decent price, this and a bunch of other ones. I didn't know if I was going to do anything with it or keep it for parts, but it's one of my last ones now, so I figured I'd give it a shot and see what I could do. Put new tires on, fix the brakes, fix the derailleur, fix the bent hanger, recabled everything, painted up the front fork, painted the handlebars, put new shifters on. It's all ready to rock and roll. And off to donate to charity. This is the Marin. I could never figure out the age of the bike. I had planned to donate it to charity, but I got talking to a neighbor and he said that he had just been to see the doctor and his cholesterol was too high, and the doctor encouraged him to get some exercise. So he said, here, I'll give you the bike. You get some exercise. So he took it. I had trouble when I first put the bike together because the tire blew on the side, and so I had to wind up putting in new tires on it. But other than that, the only other problem I had was with the shifter cables being pinched by the kickstand. I got rid of the kickstand, and he was just happy having a bike, so he didn't care if there was no kickstand or not. So he got on it and gave it a ride around the block, and was happy to have it. As I said in the beginning, each bike has its own story.